I'm big on thorough warm up on shoulders, especially too, because that's when I was in high school, I got dropped over my boyfriend at the time's shoulder onto concrete, and and I separated my AC and sprained my rotator cuff, and so that was painful. And then I've separated the AC on this side when I got in a wreck 6 years ago or so. So I don't have the best shoulders, but we work on shoulder health. My right shoulder has an impingement that I need to get looked at. I need to get in with Blake to have him fix that. He fixed my glute. I just need to fix my shoulder now. But I'm pretty sure it has to do with stabilization in my like teres major back here. I think that I can feel when I do like single arm rows and stuff, there's a huge imbalance from this side to this side. So just enough that I'm like, there's something in there that's not stabilized. Start heavy, work our way down. I usually like to start with my heaviest sets on press. That way I just get them out of the way and warm my shoulders up nice and toasty. Surprisingly, through prep so far, I haven't lost a ton of strength, which is a nice feeling. So in some places I actually feel like I've almost gotten stronger, but I still want to bump up. Like my goal is to hit like 55, add 10 to this. I can usually rep out 50 for like 4 or 5, but I get in my head when I add a 10 on there and I'm like, it's hard. It's hard, but that's been legs so far. Legs has probably been the hardest of my workouts to get through, just because having so little carbs, I'm just like, it's just enough, but like to get through it. But I'm like, I'm not over exhausting myself more than necessary. So get our work in and call it a day. But okay, I'm going up for 2. That was a good set. Good set.
How you been feeling so far for?
Felt really good. I've noticed the most changes through my body, like leanness over probably the last week and a half has really started to get there, which we're at doing check-ins weekly now. So every Thursday before we hit legs, we'll check in and she'll let me know what we need to change, and then we'll change it for come Sunday. And so we added a little extra cardio the last week. This week, food changed. So it's kind of fun to see how just changing one specific thing just makes such a big difference. And I have to get out of my head of the scale is not it's going to fluctuate, and it's really hard to get to certain lows and be like, hell yeah, I got a new low. And then usually because of inflammation or whatever, the next day it's whoop, you're back up 2 pounds or a pound or 3. And it's water weight, just inflammation, stuff like that, hard workouts, whatever. So that I have to get out of my head over, because it's one of those things you get really excited to see it move, especially when it hasn't moved in a long time. So, but then it's oh, shit. So that's probably, the changes have been really cool to see. I haven't been this lean in a long time, so it's fun. I had a cashier at Cash Saver the other day. I just gotten done here, and I went to Walmart first. I was I need green beans. I was completely out of green beans, and I had to have them for my last meal of the day. So I was I'll go over into Walmart, spend $130 at Walmart, I got home and I realized I did not get my green beans. The one thing that I needed, truly needed, and I did not get them. So I was like, well, I'll just go to Cash Saver because I don't want to go back to Walmart. And the cashier kid was like, I wouldn't want to arm wrestle you. He was like, I appreciate it. Because normally I don't make comments on women's bodies, but you look like you could beat me in arm wrestling competition. And I was like, thank you. The public comments and, of body have started. And of course, my mom and her outlandish comments. But,
I saw
that. You almost have to know her just to understand the
Yep.
silliness of it.
Yep.
But she's a mess. I was like, I appreciate the backhanded compliment, but coming from you, it's heavy on the backhanded part. So thank you, Jane. Thanks for that one. Oh. My prep brain, awful. I forget so much stuff, and it's just my scheduling. I'm trying keep everything in line. Forget half the time. I respond to people's texts in my head, and then I'm like, no shit, you actually have to type that out and send it. So.
I do the same thing, and I'm not in prep, so if that helps you.
I'm just and then Josh is like, you don't remember I schedule? I'm like, do you remember mine? Like, no, okay, then hush. We're gonna go a press drop set on this last one. So drop to the weight. I'm gonna try and go, we'll see, we'll shoot for 10, 10, 10. Pull off a plate as we go. Should be fine, but I'm a little exhausted with this fun little sinus infection, so. At this point in prep, our biggest goal with shoulders is just maintaining my shoulder mass. So heavy on presses, heavy on laterals, heavy on rear delts, which I realized I am lacking on. It's funny how you think 10 pounds will be super light. Gets a little heavy by that last few reps. Yeah. I might do one more of those. That felt really good, actually. I got my defined pumping my shoulders up today. Orange sherbet flavor, of course.
Of course.
Of course. With the new Define. There goes prep brain. Creatine.
Nice.
Think about what I'm like. I can see the package in my head.
Is that one that you'll be pulling at all during prep? Do you know?
We will probably this week, since I'm about to hit 8 weeks. That way, we just don't risk retaining any water.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because I know some people won't at all. Some people do. So
I asked her about it, and we said between 10 to 8 weeks is when we'll take it out. I haven't really been using it consistently just to see how, when I do add it back in, what my body's response is to it. So I've had to do that with kind of a lot of stuff of checking. It's kind of especially with supplements and stuff, you have to be careful of what you add in all of a sudden and then take out. And so, but so far, I guess, I don't know that it's considered lucky. I just think I'm one of those people that I don't have any kind of issues with bloating or anything with creatine, but also that one definitely nothing. So it's good dosage. So let's go one more. Alrighty. Nine. That felt good. Now my shoulders are dead. Probably my favorite thing. I mean, next to legs, my shoulders. That's something that like you can appreciate on anybody. If you got good shoulders, you know you put in the work for it, and they're not easy to grow, at least not for me. So it was a labor of love here. I'm gonna superset this one. We'll go decline front raises, neutral press. We might throw Arnold's in. We'll see. So those are for my neutral press. These are my inclines. I will say one of the coolest parts about getting lean is seeing like your veins pop out, as weird as it is. The vascularity is a cool little added bonus. Set 2. The goal is to not swing them and have control. Boy, is that hard some days. 2. And these are more of a pump motion rather than like a full range.
Let's roll.
Yeah, those are tiring. It's also really weird getting used to seeing any kind of semblance of actual like abs. Like we all get a little like a fluff ab that sticks around. I get like 2 that kind of hang out. And now I'm like, oh man, like I don't know what to do with these suckers. I haven't seen those in a while. It's nice to get used to, but yeah, the being cold constantly, I'm like, I'm okay with having a little fluff to keep me warm. So that and I will say probably the hardest part with prep so far has been fasted cardio. Despite that, I can consider myself a morning person at this point because I do train 5 a.m.s and like, I love my 5 a.m. crowd. But coming up here and putting in work and doing an hour on the Stairmaster at 5 a.m. is not fun. Being depleted and doing that and then not having as much cushion in my knees, it's been a little hard these last 2 weeks with my RA, but for the most part, it's been bearable. So I just kind of push through, adjust, comfortable shoes. And then I cover my time up. And then I've been watching Love is Blind while I do my cardio. And I'm not a reality TV show kind of person. So, but everybody was talking about it. It was all over TikTok. And I was like, fine, I'll watch this stupid show. And now I'm like, it's almost over. What am I going to do for my hour? I've got to find either watch the other seasons or something. Cause I'm like, I've got to have something to keep my attention for that long. So
Ellie tried to get me into it, and I think we watched an episode, and she ended up finishing it by herself. I'm pretty sure.
It's just so outlandish, and like, I mean, it's amazing that they actually still have couples that have stayed together that long, given that experience. And I mean, I think it's a cool experiment, but at the same time, some of the stuff you just want to like wring their necks on. You're like, oh my gosh, like some of y'all need some therapy before doing this. So, all right, last set of these. That's my good side.
That is?
That side.
Okay. Noted.
I get the cool vein on my right arm that sticks out, so. Those made me sweaty. Those were toasty. But we got a pump going, so that's a good pump. Oh, I love a good shoulder pump. That's the cool part, really. It's just when you start to actually get to see what you've worked towards, like when things start to come off, it makes the 5 a.m. hours and the being hungry after you've already eaten your last meal, it makes it worth it. So it definitely makes it worth it. Go to 12. Swap hands. 1, 2, 3, 8. You can see my muscle imbalances today. This right shoulder is lit up. Just to get that medial delta. I almost have to remind myself like where I'm gripping too. It feels better if I grip through my pinky and my middle finger. If I can remember, I can usually actually get it to activate a little better. There we go. I think that's the other thing I don't think about, the differences between how you hold from one hand to the other, especially I'm right-handed, so everything's on my right side. Sometimes I forget too on that left side to pull my lat down and not let my trap start to take over. I think a lot of people tend to forget when you're doing your shoulder movements, you want to pack your lats and really press through your shoulders. Those lats help stabilize you better. Call it for chest supported. I usually like to do some heavy sets just to like really burn it out. So I'm gonna stick with those 12.5s, shoot for like sets of 12 to 15, a little bit higher, and just burn it out since mid delts is our major goal to hit. We're gonna start with halves, and I'm literally packing my lats in and just using that mid delt, thinking about pushing my wrist away from my sides. Just put it a little in your trap when you do this, but well, the trap's never bad. Hinge forward. That left shoulder said, "Hey, I'm here now." Oh, we felt that round. That was a good one. That was good. I can feel that.
It's crazy from like my point of view to see all the progress you've already made.
That's like, and it's funny. I feel like a lot of times you're slow to see it yourself. And I mean, maybe just because I feel weird saying it because I don't want to say it like a braggy way, but I feel like I'm very in tune with my body and I can tell my little changes. And I always say, like, I mean, I know like the scale definitely doesn't depict, but like we're at I think we're at 15 to 17 pounds down from the start of prep, which the reality is, I mean, it's not a ton of weight, but the progress and just in general over my body. And like, that's the really cool part to see that I think a lot of people get stuck on a scale number or they're like, I want to lose 30 pounds. I want to lose 40 pounds. And I'm like, that is a lot of weight. In just 10 to 15 pounds makes a huge difference. And I think some people I'm going to go into this diet phase and I'm going to cut down all this weight. And it's like, just take it step by step. Stay off the scale, look at yourself in the mirror and go, okay, that's where I want to stay at. And then work on maintaining that little bit. It gets in your head over some of it, but like 10 to 15 pounds is a realistic goal for so many people to have as a goal and then see those changes. And that's why I'm like, stick with the small little steps. And it's
funny you say that. Today, the video we're going to post on Try It is making small changes in diets and stuff like that. For the very reason, it's like some people jumping straight to the deep end, it's going to work for them, but it's not for everybody. And it's like, just make small changes and you're able to change things as you go to continue seeing progress.
Well, and like prep is a drastic thing to go through. Like, I mean, doing a bodybuilding competition, especially like when you're prepping, you have that short amount of time. I mean, you can do like what Nova's doing and do a 20-week prep where you kind of ease into it, but it goes an all-out thing, but it's still small changes week by week by week. And I think if people would stop thinking of the long run and how long and being like, oh, I have to cut everything and eat like a bodybuilder in order to make those changes. You don't have to do what I'm doing at all. Like, it's drastic, but making small changes, like just cutting your carb sources down and, adding in more veggies and adding more protein. There's just little tweaks that you can do that make such massive differences.
And it's like, even like when you're cutting, it's like cutting 15 grams, cutting 20 grams. It's
just a hair.
Yeah, it's not like you're cutting a ton every time.
Cut
but
200 calories every couple of weeks. And it seems like a lot until you start looking at the labels of everything you eat. And then you're like, oh man, 200 calories it goes quick. Like it really does. But there's so many different hacks and things that you can do to still get all that you want in and have the foods that you want and have little bits without having to restrict yourself to just chicken and broccoli and rice. You don't have to be miserable doing it. So I think that's something that it's one of those things that makes me excited for when I get out of prep, because I'd like to kind of come back to this spot where I'm at. I've really been happy with where I'm sitting and it's maintainable. And so kind of like Kevin had posted yesterday about slowly working his calories and kind of, it's almost like body recomp. And it's, it's a really cool thing to like work on yourself on that and like test your body to go through it. And I think a lot of people seeing it is really daunting, but when you get into it and you put in the work, it's so cool to watch your body change and respond. And it's something you have control over too. So I think a lot of people tend to put too much thought into it. So
got a hard-hitting question for you.
What is it?
Are you going to step on stage as a blonde or a brunette?
We're staying blonde. We might go a hair bit more blonde. We'll see. So, which has kind of been, I will say, while they say that blondes have more fun, it's really hard as a blonde to pick your suit color just right, because specific colors look good with certain hair colors too. So, but I'm pretty sure the one I have picked out will be the perfect suit. So, we're not going to say we're overzealous on this one, but we might drop a little bit. These are one that I have to be careful with my shoulder, but We can get them. 10. Actually, you know what? I know I'm gonna superset with. I'm gonna do some around the world. These are always good for shoulder health too. I've been making my clients do these, so might as well do them myself. All the cricks. Oh, that felt a lot lighter picking that up. We're not going down weight yet. That's good. I feel like right now with like being just not having enough carbs while I'm in legs, and I don't like to do like I like doing my defined glucose a lot. Like I do my intro workout, but I don't like to have too much extra carbs in there. So I'm like just enough to get me through, but I'm depleted at this point enough that like trying to get an actual leg day pump can be kind of hard. So it takes a lot more effort to get there, but it'll be all worth it in the end. So it's just, I get enough of a pump in shoulders now. I'm like, oh, that looks good. but I close my eyes so that I can visualize my muscle that I'm working. Like, I swear it helps me focus better. So 90% of the time I'm like this when I'm working out. Actually, I'm gonna ask Josh, am I doing these ones right? Stretch across. Go one up. That's why I was trying to find the right.
You just think about, you want that cable to come over the joint.
Okay. That way.
Follow that cable.
Go straight
work
through.
on that C path, that full strength curve.
Okay.
Don't pull it too close.
Okay.
I'm only good for one-legged extension.
That's why I love having people like him here. Ooh, although I burned out that side before I swap. Yeah, swap sides. So. We'll go one more if we can. That's good. It's so helpful having knowledgeable people like that. I probably would have stuck with that and then dealt with my trap sticking out that whole time. And all it takes is going, hey, just double check this for me. One little adjustment, and so much better. So much better that set. So even trainers have to have help from other trainers. So I don't know everything. And I'm still learning. And that's the cool thing about having people like Josh and like Whit and Chris, who Chris is our adaptive trainer. And like he works with populations of people who are, you know, quadriplegics and, you know, paraplegics and people that have all kinds of different disabilities. And like, so anytime I've had clients that maybe didn't have quite necessarily disability, but had something that I have never dealt with before, I can go to somebody like that who's had knowledge in it. And it's like, it's just such a neat thing to have that variety and to be able to work around people with so many different skills and mindsets. And, you know, training is very obviously heavily science-based. And like, it's so cool to be able to like pick somebody else's brain because I might know something more geared towards glute work. And, you know, Josh knows just about everything geared towards anything. So it's nice to pick his brain and be like, okay, hey, form check real quick. So. Cross over the joint. Yeah. Stretch. That's right. We'll go one more. 5 pounds. It's really freaking heavy sometimes. Stand though is when I swap sides and you don't feel it the same as you do on one side to the other. It takes a little bit longer to get one side engaged. Sometimes between your rear delt and your upper lat too, so I'm trying to make sure that I can actually I'm probably not even actually working my freaking rear delt and I'm just over here working lats. It's fine. I got back day on Friday. We just kind of reworked a little bit of my split so I can hit my legs twice, shoulders twice, and then kind of just a minor back day because that obviously won't matter a whole lot, and then extra glute stuff. So it's which is weird because I'm so used to my schedule. So I've kept a similar split for so long. So like just in general, I don't do well with changing up my splits. So in my head, it all makes sense and all my days of the week are in line with how my workouts are. So
that's been one thing for me with the new coach I have is every week's a little different.
Yeah.
Like this week, my off day is Friday, or next week it's Saturday, and then next week it's on a Thursday, and it's like coming to terms with every week's gonna be different has been like, okay.
Hard.
It is nice because I do have like months notice to be able to plan weeks, but
right.
I
think the hardest part is like, especially with clients too, the way I do my clients is first workout of the week is always going to be legs. That way we get lower out of the way. And then our second workout of the week is always upper. And then the few that I have that are due like 3 days, we do upper, lower, upper. So that way we have enough time in between. And man, on the weeks that we swap it around, I'm like, what did we do last? And I try and always alternate between shoulder focus one week, back focus the other. And then I try and keep almost everybody on the same. We're all do shoulders one week, and we all do back the next week. And then it doesn't work out that way. And I'm like, what did we do last week? Do you remember? We don't remember. We'll figure it out. So I'm gonna grab a handle. We're gonna do some cable laterals first because we have to do literally all of the laterals. And then we might finish out at the standing lateral of the machine. So we'll go a little lightweight. We're going to slightly lean so we get a stretch. Back out just above that line of. Swap sides. Straight into back to the other side on these. That way I don't give myself a whole lot of rest time in them. Shoulders are toast. Oh my. Yeah, well that was sad. Range of motion got about here and here and here, but it's okay. They're toasty. They're there. When I was at Walmart the other day, I'm assuming this guy was just trying to be funny, but I think he was also trying to hit on me at the same time. But he comes up because I'd actually just left here, so I still had a good pup going. But I was looking at this will get me in trouble, but I was looking at like in the baking aisle, they used to have these marshmallows that I got last year sometime that were literally like 60 calories for the entire package. And it was a big package. They were like stevia sweetened ones, whatever. And I was looking to see if they still have them because I've not been able to find them since. And I'm like, I bet you on prep is the time that they restock these stupid marshmallows. And so I'm standing there and the shelf is literally like here. Like it's eye level, but I can see. And I'm kind of just like looking over and he comes up and he's walking behind me. He goes, "Short people problems, huh?" And I was like, yeah. And he was like, "If you need anything off the top shelves or anything like that, just let me know." I was like, "You're like 5'8", 5'9", buddy. Like, I appreciate it.
But you're not helping.
But that's not like, I think I'll be able to get it. And I was like, I've gotten really good at climbing the shelves at this age. he was like, "I'm sure you have." I was like, "Well, I don't know what that means," but I was like, I stopped growing in like 8th grade. So we make do with what we can. So it's like, thanks. I got it. I can handle it. I'm a big girl. The one thing I love about this machine is that it allows you to go a little bit full range, like over range on laterals, which I actually really enjoy. There's that failure.
That's good enough.
Back down to reality. Back down to short people reality. That's fine.
Jump.
No, come on, we got more. Maybe. That was ahead of myself. Okay.
Take on the truck of your rating.
Those were pathetic, but we did it. My goal was to not let the plate touch, and that was good enough. I think these babies are nice and warmed up now for the day. I think we'll call it.
So much.